In 1956, Warren Buffett was just 26 years old, long before the world would call him the Oracle of Omaha. He had no empire, no shareholders, and no reputation outside a small circle of investors who barely knew his name. But he did have one thing: an intense belief in the principles he learned from Benjamin Graham, the father of value investing. Buffett had just returned home to Omaha after working at Graham Newman, the investment firm run by Graham himself. It was Buffett's dream job, but Graham was retiring. The firm was closing, and for Warren, that meant starting over. At 26, Buffett had accumulated savings worth the equivalent of around $174,000 today, money he had earned from years of investing as a teenager and young adult. To most people, that was a fortune. To Warren, it was simply the foundation he needed to start something of his own. But starting a partnership was risky. Most 26-year-olds in finance were still learning from mentors, not becoming one. Banks wouldn't take him seriously. Institutional investors weren't interested. And even in Omaha, many saw him as too young, too unproven, too academic in his approach. Then came the phone call that changed everything. A family friend reached out. They had heard that Warren might start managing money independently. But before committing a cent, they asked him bluntly, "Warren, if you're so confident in your strategy, why aren't you putting all of your own money into it?" Buffett later said this question hit him harder than he expected. It wasn't an insult. It was a challenge, a reminder that leadership meant taking the first risk yourself. So that same year, Buffett made his decision. He would create Buffett Associates Limited, his first investment partnership. He personally visited family members and close friends, explaining what he planned to do and how the partnership would work. No promises, no predictions, just the value investing philosophy he had mastered under Graham. 7 people agreed to join him. Their total investment, $105,000, roughly $1.2 million today. Warren added his own capital, becoming the partner with the most money at risk. He structured the partnership exactly like Graham's firm. No fixed salary. Partners would get most of the gains. Warren would only earn if he outperformed the market. If he failed, he earned nothing. It was a rare level of integrity and a massive personal gamble. Buffett spent his days poring over annual reports, financial statements, and obscure companies that most investors ignored. He searched for the cigar-butt stocks Graham taught him to love, companies so unloved, so mispriced, that one last puff of profit remained for anyone bold enough to pick them up. His office was simple, his lifestyle even simpler. But behind that simplicity was relentless discipline. And then, the results began to appear. From 1957 onward, Buffett's partnership started beating the stock market year after year, not by a little, but by enormous margins. His average annual return over 12 years was 29.5%, more than triple the market's average. Money began pouring in. Partners brought in friends. Those friends brought in more. Within a few years, Buffett was managing millions. By age 35, he was already a financial phenomenon, long before the world noticed. In 1965, Buffett made a move that would define the rest of his career. He took control of a struggling textile company called Berkshire Hathaway, a company he didn't buy for its future potential, but simply because it was undervalued. Over time, he transformed it from a failing mill into one of the most powerful holding companies in history, owning businesses like Geico, See's Candies, BNSF Railway, and dozens more. Today, Berkshire is one of the biggest companies on the planet, all because a 26-year-old decided to believe in his own abilities enough to risk everything beside his partners. Looking back, Buffett said that starting his partnership was the most important financial decision of his life, more important than buying Berkshire, more important than any stock pick, because it forced him to commit completely to his own conviction. It all began with a single phone call, a simple question, and a young investor courageous enough to answer it with action. Buffett didn't become a billionaire because he found the perfect opportunity. He became one because he was willing to invest everything he had into his own discipline, his own knowledge, and his own vision. The moment you choose to trust your preparation more than your fear, that's the moment everything can change.